I warn everyone who hears the word of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds anything to them, God will add to him the plagues described in this book. And if anyone takes words away from this book of prophecy, God will take away from him his share of the tree of life and in the holy city which are described in this book. Revelation 22:18-19. This is the very last line in the Bible which Christians claim to believe 100%. I don't think they are aware that they are breaking this commandment every single time they use apologetics. Anytime something comes up in the Bible that is contradictory, barbaric, or just plain makes no sense, they will add things to the story or Bible and believe it wholeheartedly. The 42 children who were mauled by the bears for calling Elisha bald gets changed from kids to teen gangsters ready to beat him up. That was never in the Bible. You can't add that. You can only go with what is written, otherwise it will be added to your transgressions and plagues. Especially since men were considered men by the age of 13, so the translation wouldn't work at all. Ignoring this story is just as bad. It's like removing it from the Bible because you don't pay attention and believe it 100% that God just hates kids who make fun of bald people. Your name will be removed from the Lamb's Book of Life. The 3 wise men, even though there was an unnamed number of them, is another example of adding to the Bible. Noah receiving ridicule for building the ark, which is practically in every kid's story, and I didn't even remember that it wasn't in there till a few years ago, is another. Artistic licensing is fine, if it's just a book, but if you're going to claim the Bible is so true, then you can't do this. Free will is a major one, as nowhere in the Bible does it say that we have free will. If anything, the opposite seems to be the case, such as with Pharaoh having his heart hardened, and King David being made to hold a census and then being punished. Free will was extrapolated and postulated by Thomas Aquinas, as to explain the confusion about our creation in the fall. This is adding to the Bible, which you can't do according to the Bible. You have to believe every part without question or you're violating your own book. Apologetics helps to rebrand the religion and make it sound not so crazy, while at the same time breaking its own commandments. Speaking of rebranding, I've heard this argument several times from Christians when discussing religion. When we call it a religion, they will say, "Oh, I don't have a religion, I just have faith," or "I just have a relationship with God." This makes me think there is a growing stigma against the word religion, or religion in general. Faith still is considered noble and virtuous, but religion is linked with organized religion or dogma. Many of these people are equally dogmatic about their faith, especially evangelicals, who tend not to have hierarchies in their churches and centralized headquarters. These evangelical churches flourish in the U.S. because of their lack of central authority, other than the church's interpretation of the Bible, which they use to claim that God is their only central authority. If there's a scandal, they just dissociate themselves from that church, and anyone can start one of these churches if they can get enough members. It's really no wonder the fundies have grown so much in the U.S. They like the ability to be independent and preach with no oversight. However, even though there is no central authority, it's still a religion, which is defined as a system of rituals based on faith or a belief system based on faith, aka belief without evidence. Thanks to creationism and personal experiences, they think they have evidence until you really ask them, and then it all comes down to faith. Religion is slowly losing favor in the minds of people, so one tactic used by any company or organization is to rebrand themselves. Ever hear of the company Altria? How about Philip Morris? I bet more of you know of the latter than the former. When the cigarette company began to take heat for lying about the dangers of smoking, instead of changing their practices, they changed their name to Altria. They still sell cigarettes, and they're still the same company, although now they diversify and own craft foods, but they are still the exact same thing they were before. Once their long-standing scam was found out, they just changed their name, just like religion. It's still religion based on faith, no matter what you want to call it. AIG and many other banks did the same thing, and thanks to human psychology, it worked quite well. Some of the heat came off of them as they would condemn their old name and claim to be different. Oh, moderner, my religions had nothing to do with the Inquisition, slavery, anti-Semitism, or pedophilia. They try to claim the same thing about atheists, but we have to repeat many times over, a lack of belief in God is the only thing we have in common, and we all believe different things, while you claim to believe pretty close to the same thing. The belief without evidence is good, and something you should die for or kill for. Isn't it amazing that the only people who tell you that belief without evidence is good, aside from religion, is either a politician or a con man?